Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of, no, this is your May bonus reading, actually. Just kidding. We're going to jump right in here, Taurus. In your current general energies, you have this last quarter moon in Pisces. It says, talk less, feel more. And I do feel like your feelings are, kind of going to be guiding you at this time. It makes sense. Again, with Uranus and Taurus, it's all about your values. And, obviously, if you do things that you value, then you're going to feel a lot better. And so that's how you can use your feelings to kind of like guide you or to move you towards something new. I also get this feeling of like thriving here. It's kind of funny that you have this card that says survival and power, but what I heard was, thriving, not surviving. And I feel like you're getting into this place in your life where you're going to be thriving. Look, 2 aces right here as well. So it definitely seems to me like this reading is saying that the universe wants you to thrive. I feel like the universe wants you to find like a lot of success and a lot of like good things in your life and wants you to have a lot of positive experiences. And so we're going to see what is going on for you this week, or this month, I should say. There could obviously be something happening for you this week. This is going to be, this next week would be the week of the 8th. And so, there could be something going on because I keep wanting to talk about the week. But you have the Page of Wands here. Page of Wands is all about your, like, going on an adventure, following your enthusiasm, things like that. I also have something about good news coming in for you, but it feels disconnected from the main message. But again, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like this is just good news that could be coming in for you, probably in regards to your finances is what I would say. We go across to the 5 of Pentacles, and you might be saying, Chris, the 5 of Pentacles is a bad card. And yes, but it's showing up in the area of the good stuff. So this last row represents the good stuff no matter what. And so I feel clearly there could be some sort of change in your finances for the better, or it's like you're coming out of the cold. I feel like it's when you trust your feelings and when you really, commit to something here with the 7 of Wands. I do think a big challenge for you, Taurus, is going to be the fact that, there could be people who, you have these ideas for, things that maybe you want to do, create, have, whatever in your life. And your challenge is these 2 cards, actually. I'm going to show you both because why not? But the 4 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords, like not caring what other people think, not holding on to security. Again, the reason, a lot of people are being triggered by this right now, but, I feel like you are probably being triggered by this the most. The 4 of Pentacles, there is a sense of security with the 4 of Pentacles because he has that city behind him, but it's kind of like herd mentality. It's like, he just does things because everybody else does them, right? And I feel like we are in a time where we need to do things because we want to do them and not because someone says it's a good idea or whatever. So we really need to listen to our heart. I always talk about this because it's probably like the most successful, most important thing that we possibly could do at this time. You also have the 2 of Swords. She is sitting where she has always been. This is a new island that's behind her. I always say with the 2 of Swords, we need to get to that new island. And again, the thing is that no one has ever been there before. So people might call you crazy for, wanting to start your next business or, saying that you're going to quit your job and go do something new with your life. Clearly, you're getting a big yes on whatever you're thinking about from the universe because you have 2 aces. 2 aces is a big yes to any question that I haven't answered, but, I would say whatever you're thinking of doing, I feel like that is saying yes, move in this direction. It's kind of funny as well that the 2 of Swords, she has to kind of leave behind where she has always been. You have the Ace of Swords. With the Ace of Swords, we always have to make some sort of sacrifice. There's a palm frond right here. Palm fronds in the tarot represent a sacrifice, and, it could represent, and the Ace of Swords cuts both ways. It's sharp on both sides, so, it can represent like cutting one thing out to have something else. With the Page of Wands, you have the Queen of Swords. You have the Queen and King of Swords here. The King and Queen of Swords are my least 2 favorite divine counterparts. Usually they're not facing each other, although she is facing the King of Swords in your reading. But usually they're not talking or, there's some sort of issue going on here. So for some of you, it's kind of weird because I do feel like this is a new person. Because you have the Ace of Cups here, you have this high honor card. I'm wondering if you're attracting someone that's like, out of reach in some way, long distance. Maybe it's a boss as well. It's like gender doesn't matter here, whatever gender you're attracted to. But whenever I have like high honor and courthouse, this courthouse energy, it's like giving me the vibes of like there's some sort of rule, against this. It could also be a person who has certain rules. It's like some people don't date people they work with, for example, right? And it's like there's some sort of that's popping into my head where it's like this actually could be a good connection, but if you're looking for love and if you're interested in a person. But again, there's something that needs to be overcome. I feel like I've said this to you before, Taurus. And again, this person could be a person who gets, who is of high honor. They could be a person who's well known in your area or your business or your career. I'm kind of getting that feeling, mostly work. So, it could be a work situation that's going on here. With if you know, right? With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is about balance, but I kind of feel like this is saying you can't please everyone. I feel like if you're trying to please anyone right now, you're probably not going to be very successful. I keep telling people, like, don't be afraid to be controversial at this time. We have Pluto and Aquarius, and, Pluto and Aquarius is a collective. And also in 2026, we have Neptune moving into Aries. Don't even get me started on that. But what I will say is, like, we have a lot of energy that is going to make people just, clump up into big clumps, right? And the one way to be super successful right now is to be controversial. And I'm not even talking about, like, being controversial in a bad way. I'm talking about just doing something that makes you unique, doing something that goes against the grain. And I wouldn't try, and again, people know if you're not being genuine, right? So it's like, you can't do something, you can't just try to be controversial. It's like, I'm sure you've all seen that, where it's like, there are plenty of, I don't have any good examples, but there are plenty of people who are just dicks, right? There's no other way to put it. So, don't be a dick, obviously, but I feel if there's like a way that you could, take your business and stand out or do things differently or do something unique, then you are going to be very successful. And, it's just a sign of the times. With the Two of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups, Knight in Shining Armor. If you're interested in a person, there needs to be communication. Ace of Swords, you have this page right here, and you have the Ace of Cups. It's like there's love here, but I feel like a move needs to be made. It's pretty simple. Next, in the area of the, what are we doing? The unexpected. You have this Dove card. It says peace and serenity. You also have the Shark. It says survival and power on it. When I put that shark card down, I was getting survive, not thrive, or thrive, not survive. And I feel like you are trying to thrive at this time. It's like you're trying to create a certain amount of like security in your life. And, I kind of feel like releasing energy here. You have that peace card. It's almost like the more you release, the more secure you're actually going to become. I feel like if you're trying to, force security, which is what most people do, most people freak out when they don't have money, for example, and they try to like force money to enter into their lives. And then that obviously does not work. So it's like the more you release, the better is what I'm getting here. You have the Seven of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Strength card. I feel like you've been very patient in your life. I feel like it's like you've kind of like waited for a lot of financial changes is what I feel. I kind of also feel that it's like you're stepping out of the shadows is literally the word that's popping into my head. We go like this right here. We go to the King of Swords to the Five of Pentacles. I wouldn't necessarily call this a glow up reading here, Taurus, but I do get a very, it's almost like you're stepping into the light. It's almost as if you've been in the background and you could be stepping into the foreground in this reading. That's like the feeling I get here. So that could be, it's like maybe you have a job and you work in the background. And maybe now you're like being promoted or something like that. There's something here about stepping into light. If you have a business, same thing. It does feel financial to me. So even if you're retired, it's like, maybe you're taking control of your finances, and even if you're retired and you could be making some investments, but I kind of get this feeling of real figuring out that you're good at something as well. It's like I've heard a lot of stories like that where it's like people, it's like their husband dies or something, and then they end up taking over the investments and they figure out that they had like kind of like a knack for it all along. And I kind of get that as well in this reading. Pretty crazy reading. I feel like some of you, it's like you could be discovering something that you just didn't know you were kind of like a natural at, or didn't know that you were good at, And so that's kind of like what I'm getting here in this reading. It's kind of like, it's like I'm like, I fell on my head when I was 10 years old, and I'm like a terrible writer. It's like my grammar. I remember I was in my second grade class, my teacher, we were doing this grammar thing on the board, and I also have the ADD. So I was like staring out the window, and I will never forget this. I was like, we were supposed to fill out this paper, which with all like grammar and all this other stuff. And all I remember is like starting and then staring out the window, and then all of a sudden it was the end of class, and I just had a blank sheet of paper, and everybody else else was done. So it's like I'm a terrible writer, right? But it's like I discovered in like my early 20s that I was like a good copywriter, and so I actually became a copywriter and copywrote for years. But still to this day I still screw around with it. But it's like something that I didn't know I was good at until I did it. And I kind of long story short, I feel like some of you could be discovering something that it's like you're good at it, but maybe you feel like you're not good at it. And, I kind of get that feeling here. So, don't be afraid to dabble. I feel like I've said that to you before, Taurus. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It's a card that says when you know that you're going to be successful, then you will be successful. You also have, sorry to keep switching, but you have 2 sevens here. And 2 sevens to me represent internal fears that don't exist. So, I feel that there could be some fears or you could be afraid to do something, but I feel like you need to do it anyway. It's probably something that has you stepping out of the shadows, right? Where it's almost like you're revealing something here. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Ace of Cups. Are you kidding? This is definitely love right here. I feel like it's a new person. I do not think it's an an air sign. I feel like it could be fire. It could be a Sagittarius. Could be a water sign. Could be an Aquarius, a Leo. Stands out to me. But, take it how it resonates. It could be any sign. But there needs to be communication, or it's like I feel like you can't read this person's mind, and again, I feel like this person's out of reach, like they're a boss at work, or, maybe you just work with the person and maybe they have a rule, like I said. So that's like the feeling I get here. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Emperor. I'm going to kick myself when the Empress shows up in this reading as well, because, that's like the feeling I get here. But this person definitely could be a boss. Like I said, definitely could be an Emperor type person. I also feel that, again, if the Empress, I'm gonna faint if the Empress shows up, because I get that feeling of, like I said, it's not really a glow up reading, but there is something here about, I kind of take that Emperor, you have the Emperor here, but if the Emperor shows up, I'm just saying, I get that energy of like something being revealed, basically. With the Strength card, you have the Seven of Swords. You have 2 sevens here. Again, Seven of Swords can, of course, represent lying, cheating, stealing, but that's not really what it means. The Seven of Swords is a card of tactics. Normally, the guy on the Seven of Swords is stealing the swords from an army that's in the background. And so it kind of represents, doing something tactically or doing something thoughtfully. So I do feel if you're like starting anything new that you're going to have to be tactical about it. I do also feel that some of you, it's like you could be working on something behind the scenes. I get that feeling for you where it's like maybe you're working on something your family doesn't agree with, or maybe you have a business and you're kind of like, or you have a job and you're working on a side business. I just kind of get that, again, I keep getting that, like working on something in the shadows type of energy. It's not like you're hiding it. I just think you're just working on something behind the scenes. But this reading is really telling me it's time for it to come to light. You have this courthouse card and this high honor card. So, number one, I do feel that I was getting on the courthouse something about rules. And, this is showing up in the area of the critical information you need to hear right now. And so I feel like there could be some rules or a rule, from a person where a person kind of it doesn't want you, or, it has rules against like dating at work or something like that popped into my head. So take it how it resonates. But on top of that, I feel like you could be receiving high honor. You have the Ace of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. The King of Swords can kind of represent high honor. It is a card of justice. He represents law and order. But it could represent, might not be a legal matter. It could represent you displaying your wisdom. He is the card of knowledge and wisdom. And like I said, I get that here, that some of you, especially going this way, you have that Five of Pentacles, but it's showing up in the good stuff. And I really feel that you could be greatly improving your finances, or there could be some like sort of financial bonus coming in for you because of some hard work that you did or something that you did. You have the Ace of Cups here. Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being really happy. So I do feel like there is a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you with the Ace of Cups. I feel like your emotions are overflowing. I also feel that clearly this could be a love connection. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says to me that something needs to change. He's looking at those 7 Pentacles. He's been kind of like doing the same thing over and over and over again. It kind of gives me the feelings of, it's like when you turn like 30, for example. It's like, everybody panics when they turn 30, right? And what I would say here is it's almost like you're looking at how everything has been the same, and you're like saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to be, I'm running out of time. So I kind of get that feeling of running out of time here, or feeling like you don't have enough time to create, do, be, or have something that you want. I don't feel good or bad about this. I kind of feel it's going to it's going to depend on how you use that energy. If you use it to create change, then I think it'll be good. If you don't, then it won't, right? With the Ace of Cups, you have the Page of Cups. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, could be an Aries or a fire sign. You have a ton of fire here, but take it how it resonates. Definitely could be a love connection. It could also be a Scorpio. I don't know. Scorpio has been getting the Five of Pentacles, and I've been saying to Scorpio that they could be attracting a person who has been left out in the cold. So, if you've been left out in the cold, and if you meet like a Scorpio that's also been left out in the cold, then it kind of looks like two people who've been through something very similar. Although what I will say is that with the King of Swords, you have the King of Wands, so definitely could be a fire sign. I also really like that we go from the King of Swords to the King of Wands. That tells me that this person could be communicating with you, or will communicate with you, or will be opening up to you. So, there you go. Definitely could be a King of Wands type person. Again, it could be a person who gets a lot of attention as well. You have that High Honor card, so, definitely something to think about. The other thing that I think about outside of love here, Taurus, is that King of Wands represents being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. And, again, I think that every single reading I do for you basically says you need to be bold, assertive, confident. You really need to kind of like grab onto the things that you want, because it's like time for you to stand out. But it's like, if you've been in the background for too long, I feel like maybe you're working on your confidence, or you need to work on your confidence. We even have the Strength card here. And the Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. For whatever reason, I feel like the rest of this month, it's going to be very important for you that you are confident. It's like, I don't really have any good examples, but it's like, people always like do things where, it's like, maybe someone says, oh, you're good at this. And maybe normally you would say, oh, no, I got lucky or something like that. I feel like this is saying, no, you need to embrace it. Like if someone says you're good at this, you need to be like, damn straight, I'm good at this. I feel like you need to have that confidence. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles, probably your most important card here because it shows up here as well. Both of these are change cards, Temperance and the Seven of Pentacles. Temperance, obviously, is a card of alchemy, turning one thing into another. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at these Seven Pentacles saying, like, is it worth it for me to work on these Pentacles? Or, is there something else I could be doing? So it can represent a change in direction. And so everything is encouraging you to, leave the normal behind. I feel like it's time to, get unusual here, Taurus. At the end here for the good stuff, you have the Hierophant, which is just you showing up in a strong position. You also have this Soul Retrieval card. Sorry, that didn't work. The Soul Retrieval card is kind of like a card of going through a transformation, which we saw with that Temperance card. Again, I feel like you're stepping into the light, kind of. Again, I don't really feel like that's the right way to put it. I just think you're kind of, going from the background to the foreground in this reading. It's almost as if you're starting to get noticed for whatever it is you work on, or whatever it is you do, or, if there's something you want to get noticed for, like some sort of change that you want to make in the world, or something like that. I kind of feel that's what this reading is talking about. You have the Five of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Four of Swords. I always pull the card the Magician is pointing to. I feel like he's pointing to this one right here. And what do you know? It says heart, it says love, new love. We've been talking about that this whole time. I don't think this is only a love reading, just to make that very clear. I think there's plenty of stuff about you stepping into the limelight, or you stepping into just, it doesn't even have to be the limelight. It's like you're just getting attention or something. And, but definitely love. Maybe you've been single for a long time, but again, the Five of Pentacles is showing up in the area of the good stuff. So I do feel that you are coming out of the cold. Everybody gets the Five of Pentacles right now, and I think that we are at a time, especially with the astrology, where it's like the things that we are going to notice are our weaknesses. And so we have to make sure that we focus on our strengths, right? And the Five of Pentacles basically says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. Focus on the things that you're good at, and you'll be more successful. You have the Magician. So, again, you have a lot of reinvention energy here. You have the Soul Retrieval card. You have the Temperance card. Seven of Pentacles even as a change in direction. You have the Four of Pentacles twice, which can say like, hey, leave behind what you've always known so that you can step into something new. The Magician is a card of reinvention. He has this snake right here wrapped around his waist. The snake represents the Ouroboros, and it just represents a reinvention. So I kind of feel like you're just like reinventing yourself, going through these deep changes and probably receiving blessings. The Four Swords is a card of recovery, but right here, there's a person who is blessing another person in that stained glass window. So, number one, Mercury retrograde still until like, the 21st, basically. We might as well consider the retrograde until like the 21st, 22nd. That's when Mercury leaves its shadow. So even though it's over on the 14th, doesn't matter. I would, if you need extra sleep, get extra sleep. If you need extra rest, get extra rest. But I do feel that there are some big blessings coming in for you. This is a very good reading. I think it's been an intense change that you've gone through, but it's like all coming together. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Swords. Definitely some sort of news or communication coming in for you. Again, going this way, I feel normally I don't really like the Knight of Swords, but he is showing up in the area of the good stuff. So, to me, this could just be like a message coming in from a person that you're interested in. So there you go. With the Magician, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Yes, I feel like you are attracting a lot of wealth at this time. Literally, could be wealth. Especially for those of you that are like working on businesses, business ideas, careers, things like that. I feel like saying like don't stop as well. It's like, if you're, especially if you're like doing YouTube or something, it's like I feel like this is saying like keep going. The Magician, he isn't afraid to iterate. He isn't afraid to, take one idea and turn it into another. So it's like, the most successful YouTube channels, for example, that's what they do. They like take, they have like a bad idea, but maybe there were good parts of it, and they just create that video again and they do it better, right? And so I feel I kind of get the energy here, and I'm not saying you're doing YouTube, but I'm just saying like in work, in business, it's like, create whatever you're creating, and if it doesn't work, that's fine, but look at the parts that were good. Five of Pentacles, don't call attention to weaknesses, focus on the strengths, and then recreate that, right? I feel like that'll lead to a lot of success. With the Four of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords, but again, this is the good stuff. So clearly, I feel you're getting past a period in your life where, things weren't so easy, where things were in the dark, and you're stepping into the light now. Is really, I feel that's like the best way to put this reading. It's almost like you're bringing something forward is kind of like the feeling I get from it. I hope that makes sense. Probably not, right? Let's see. We're going to pull 5 main themes now. You have this dog close up. It says pleasure with close friends. Definitely, pretty much every single person, there's a billion dogs in this deck here, this tea leaf oracle, and pretty much everyone so far has had one of the dog cards, and they all pretty much represent socializing. So it seems to just be like a good social time. I do feel that, again, when we're not doing things that we enjoy, that is like the worst part. Again, the most stuck that I've ever been in my life was when I didn't allow myself to do anything. I literally just sat in my room and did nothing, literally. So, that was when I was the most stuck. And I always say, like, the first thing that I think really changed my life was going for walks. I was getting out of my head. I was moving the energy forward, but I was stuck for like 4 years. I literally did nothing. So, I think that, doing something, getting out of your head, separating away. I think that when we have a problem in life or, financial issues, it's like the only thing we think about. So it's like we have to stop thinking about it to fix the issue. I think, modern day society is like, oh no, you have to think about this and worry about it until you fix it. But really we should be doing the opposite. I'm not even saying you have any problems. This looks really good. You have this bear. It says danger, especially in money matters. I don't think that's true. Can we get clarity on that? Here, you have this flute card, disappointment in a friend or a lover. Maybe if you're married or something, there could be some financial issues, but overall, I think your financial issues are actually improving, especially with this last row here and so much going on. You have this love card. I'm going to clarify this as well. You have this ear. It says good news. What have I been talking about this whole entire time? There could be communication, and you literally have this ear on love. And I've been talking about communication and love this whole entire time. So for some of you, I feel like you need to communicate with a person, or they need to communicate with you. You have this handshake card. It says a meeting with a stranger could be important. I do kind of get, you have the King of Swords, which, not necessarily intuitive, right? I don't really get this in your reading, so just putting that out there, but kind of sometimes I feel the King of Swords is like a mentor or someone who really can kind of guide you through something. So again, if you meet someone of high honor with that high honor card, if you meet someone that you look up to, or, it could be like maybe even your boss, maybe you look up to your boss, but maybe they're like the CEO or something of a big company and they're out of reach, but you meet them, right? I feel that could be happening for you this month. It could be very important. You have this eye. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. Yeah, very intuitive time for you for sure. So anything you can do to trust your intuition, your inner guidance, all that stuff, clearly is going to be very important for you. But this looks really, really good here, Taurus. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.